Check. Hey, now everybody should have some form of audio. Hopefully, it takes 3, 4, 2. There. Everybody, now, no, no, now. How about now? How about now? They're awful quick to say they don't have audio. They're really slow to type something like "all good." Yeah, there you go. Nicole says it. Yeah, quick shifts, quick changes. Although, why is it not mono? Why is it? Where's my? I know there's a way I can tell it to mix down to mono. There it is. I found it. Down mix. Talk again. Oh, you know what? That's why you don't have a. Okay, talk again for me.
Okay, test, test, test. Hello.
Yep, got you now. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Everything, a little bit of tweaks
Test,
here and
test,
there.
test, test, test.
Yeah,
Hello.
we don't need you now. Thank you. Uh, that's one way to number things. It works. I understand it. Okay, so real quick before we get started, I noticed we had a
Yes.
first time watcher. So welcome to Silvano Bass. Sylvan on Bass. I think that's Sylvan on Bass. And if you're in the chat room, I can see your name. I'm about to shut this down real quick, but I wanted to say hello to everybody. Shiftworks, Zenzalu, Nathan, uh, Rock Eddie 33, Lady Jasmine, Evil Imp. And if you haven't chatted yet, I won't see you because it's a whole thing to log in right now. And so, but I want to say hello, everybody. Thank you. And if you're here watching live, you stick through the end of the show. The game we play, and Nicole will put up the instructions here. But the game we play is Name the Show. And if you put exclamation point, the letter S, hit your space bar. Everything you type after that will be submitted as a show title. So as we go along and say things that catch your fancy or make you laugh, or you just want to challenge Ibbot to see if he can do the artwork, you just send it in. And at the end of the show, why is this not expanding for me? That doesn't matter. At the end of the show, we will everybody will get to vote, and that's how that works. All right, let me hit recording. It looks like everything is working there. Yep, everything is working on the recording. And Joe's gonna be nodding along with the podcast right now. Does wife release him of the Pichu that he has. And one last sound check for me. Yeah,
Check, check, check.
Good.
Chest, chest, chest.
All right. You know what, Nicole? I'm gonna give you one. I don't usually give Nicole a mandate. I'm gonna give her a mandate tonight. Is every time Zenzalu mentions that damn shiny Lugia, ban him for like 30 seconds or a minute.
Wow. Wow.
She won't do it, but that's my mandate. She won't do it, but I try. Anything to please me. I mean the fans. I'll do.
Uh-huh.
So. All right. I guess we're ready to go, more or less.
I think so, yeah.
I gotta adjust this.
You sure? You sure you
I,
are?
I looked up at my Zoom. Zoom takes the camera and it's like, let's find the most raw, horrible settings that we can use and use that instead.
Yeah. Right.
So I just like to soften a little bit. That's all. Okay, now I'm ready.
The softer side of Charles.
I try. Welcome to Pokemon GO Podcast, your number one source for news, reviews, tips, and techniques to help you catch them all. I am the Rock God of Podcasting, Charles McFall, and we're off to a great start tonight. We have got not one, not two, but 2.5 hosts on the show. Joe won't be able to say hi right now because 0.5 host is in his lap. Oh, he did. That's about it. Because the baby has not learned good mic technique yet, but he's trying.
Exactly.
Joe's raising him right at the desk, so it's awesome. But the other voice you hear right now here is Brian Ibbott.
That's right. Yeah, the baby still hasn't learned to step away from the mic to breathe.
Well, at least he's mastered the first line of Chocolate Rain. I mean, he'll get the breathing down,
exactly.
but
Exactly.
he's got.
Everyone needs Tay Zonday in their life.
You gotta do, don't you? So we got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. There's some anniversaries coming up, right? And Niantic was
Hmm.
nice enough to celebrate us in our third anniversary, so we'll mention them.
Really nice of them.
It
Yeah.
was.
Uh,
But before we get to,
That's the only anniversary coming up, right? That's the only third anniversary.
yeah, I mean,
Just
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
we
us.
were doing the podcast, and they built a game to suit it. That's how that
Right. Right.
works. I think.
Exactly. Exactly.
But before we get to that, experiences of the week.
Hmm.
Joe, you just take over whenever you can jump in. I don't know how much the baby's going to let you right in a second, but Ibbot, what was your experience this week?
So mine was last night. Oh, Joe's holding up a barf towel. That's his experience of the night. Um, hopefully that's the baby's. The experience I had last night for dinner hour. So there was all rating dinner hour. I went out with a bunch of the Arvada group, the Arvada folks. Almost called them the Arvada Grokes, but the Arvada folks, and we hit 5 parks, which has 7 gyms all in a nice little compact area. So basically, it's do 2 gyms, hop in the cars, drive over the next pair of gyms, drive over to the next, and basically there are 3 places where you can get to 2 gyms very easily, and then there's a last gym that you can kind of walk over to. So just knocked out 7 raids, bam, 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 bam. I ended up with 6 Kyogre, and one of which was a nice purple shiny one. So
Okay, nice.
so happy with that. Tina ended up the Tina who doesn't care, my wife who doesn't care about shinies, ended up with 2 of them, 2 shiny Kyogres. But I'm
Nice.
pleased to say that one of my Kyogres is 96% uh, IVs, so it's not too bad. It's one I'm pretty pleased with as far as like a fighting shiny. Got to have a good fighting shiny.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I will. I see Joe's about ready, but I'll go ahead and jump in on.
yeah.
Unless you're done, I don't want to take away from.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. Done with mine.
Mine happens to be shiny stories as well, and I was getting into our Discord to say I got a new shiny, and I actually have 2 this week.
Hmm?
I got an Apom shiny.
Oh, nice,
So
nice. I have
and
not gotten one of those yet.
you know what? I'm going to go ahead and evolve him up so I have the evolution of him there. And then the other shiny was Rosa Raid is the evolution, right? Roselia is the first.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I got a Roselia, a shiny
Yeah,
Roselia.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Roselia is the base form, but it has a baby as well, actually.
yeah. So the Roselia. Oh, it's cool because it's the black and
Let's
purple one or whatever, like
see.
the really dark flowers.
Yes, it is. There you go. Purple
That's
and
cool.
black. Yeah. And the catch of this is I didn't catch him actively. I got to open my game and go, woo, look. The shiny RN Jesus has smiled on me.
Nice.
So, very happy. Um, should I just, this is a very cool look. Should I evolve Roselia up to Roserade? Is it as cool a look, Joe? You
Yeah, we
muted
can't hear
yourself
you,
again.
Joe. Still muted.
Here I go, muting myself. How are the IVs?
Uh,
Ah.
all right, so
So,
I'll do the IVs and you can tell your
Because
experience.
Rose Raid is actually pretty good for PvP,
Mhm.
so that's why I ask.
But I think the way Charles, and this is the way I think too. I want the coolest evolution for my shiny.
Yes, I want to look awesome.
I want whichever of the
I-
3 evolutions or whatever is coolest. That's the one I want my shiny to be.
I like Shiny Rose Raid personally. I like both Shiny Roselia and Shiny Rose Raid. So
See,
Well,
so you might on the podcast. I'm going to read this out for you because you might use PokeGenie as well. But on the broadcast, you should see my screen. So the new update, I saw this in the update of PokeGenie that says the PokeGenie keyboard and name generator are here, but I can't quite figure out how to get because you can use the keyboard in Pokemon Go without leaving to analyze your IVs. It says, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
well, I think it just sets it up for you, and then you can copy it into.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. The other way is that you can, if you take a snapshot of it, screenshot of it, and then go into the name change feature, then you can change keyboards. It'll automatically pull up, or it might automatically pull
Okay.
up the PokeGenie keyboard, and then it'll have the estimated IVs. It won't have the for sure IVs
You still have
unless
to go
it's
into Poke. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotcha.
And unfortunately, then you go in Pokegenie, there's not a way to copy and paste. You can't paste into the iOS version of the Pokemon Go name field, which is
Okay.
a real bummer because that's one of the things the Pokegenie does really well is it's like, oh, okay, it gives you that whole little string, you copy it, but then you can't go in and paste it, unfortunately.
Well, to answer your question, Joe, as you can see, the IVs are 48%
Ooh.
adequate, a
If
0 to 4 defense, and a 7 stamina.
if that attack IV is 14, because you haven't narrowed it down, but if that attack IV is 14, that actually might not be half bad.
But does it look cool? You still haven't answered the question.
I
It
said
does
it
look cool.
looks
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Well, then I'll evolve it. But that's it. I was very much happy with opening up my.
Question is, do you have the evolution item you need to evolve it?
Would that be a Sinnoh Snow? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, more or less.
Sure.
Yeah, I have like.
Sure.
Well, now I've got 5 or 6 left because I just used 2. But yeah. So Joe, what's your experience this week?
I have hatched a ton of Pokemon this
Does look
week.
good.
And the one that I hatched another Happiny, so that's fun. But the one that really I'm happy about is I hatched a Cranidos that had a perfect attack IV. And so, as we've said before, Rampardos is basically the rock version of Machamp. So that attack IV is what you really want to be high. So I immediately evolved that bad boy, and I am very happy about it.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's yeah. That is pretty cool. I haven't got any new Pokemon since the fest, but I know I'm the filthy. Well, maybe not filthy casual. I'm the casual here. I cannot get rid of my basic Pokeballs, and I have it on auto catch all the time. Hence 2 new shinies, and I mean with opening gifts and spinning. And the Adventure Sync. I mean, I went to Pokemon Go Fest with maybe 100, came home with like 250, and I have not gotten under 100 since I've gotten home.
Yeah.
Whereas I went to Go Fest with over 400 and went home with 30.
Oh wow, really? I had 300 something Ultra Balls, so I just actually used those at Go Fest to just make sure that I got all the unknowns and Pachirisus that I wanted on the first shot, just to cut down on time.
That's why we missed a lot of turns coming home, Joe. Is every time I say which way we turn, you're like over there. Yeah. For the podcast, I spun my finger like he spun a lot of curveballs. All right, moving on.
Right.
So lots of cool news, right?
Let's get to it.
Lots of good stuff going on. Speaking about Go Fest, the trading economy feels anti-fun, is what this person who wrote this article, is talking about. Joe, why don't you enlighten us on this post about? And while we're pulling the tab up, I know I didn't go to the trading post while I was there because it was always packed. Everybody wanted something that everybody wanted. A shiny fill in the blank.
Torkoal.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
Nobody wanted Torkoal.
Or not Torkoal.
Tropius.
Sorry,
Everybody
Tropius.
wanted a shiny Tropius, is what they wanted. Every side.
Shiny Tropius isn't out.
Well, so I did see somebody write that on their side, so that's why I said that.
So everybody pretty much wanted the Blue Shellos, Uxie, Mesprit, Chatot, Tropius, Relicanth, Volbeat, and then some people also wanted some of the rare unknowns if they cared about getting all of the unknowns. And that's actually one of the items that's listed on this post. And they make some really, really good points. So, for instance, he ran into a couple of people that were foreign, that had a bunch of, 1 or 2 of these different Pokemon that everybody wanted, but you're limited at Go Fest to 5 special trades.
Right.
So, who cares if they came here with, 50. One of the people had 50 of the Blue Shellos.
And you only get rid of 5 in that one day.
Yeah. And they were like, look, everybody wants this. Like one person was like, everybody wants Chatot. I would give a ton of these away, but I only have 5 trades, so I need to get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. That's fair on
Yeah.
their part.
Yeah.
And then later in the day, this particular person ran into a 10-year-old, and his little list said he wanted a shiny Pikachu.
Okay.
And so he goes over to trade, and the kid didn't have enough Stardust.
Oh no.
Because
Oh,
even with the discounted Stardust,
yeah.
it was half Stardust for the trades. It still is super expensive. So these live events, the Stardust is a factor, especially this little 10-year-old kid who wants something. It's not crazy rare, but still for him it would make his day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it because the kid didn't have enough Stardust,
That's a bummer.
and so just all of that, those limiting mechanics, which are there as far as everyone is concerned, are only there to stop multi accounters and spoofers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're there to prevent cheaters from doing all kinds of craziness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's severely limiting events like this where we could do all kinds of fun stuff, but we're limited because of how they have it set up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's the basic of this post, and I 100% agree. And you can tell that Reddit agrees because it has 3 Reddit gold and 4 Reddit silver attached to this post.
Wow.
So that
Yeah.
and those cost actual money. People, that's one way to support Reddit, is to buy gold or silver, and you can give it to people's posts or comments if you like them. And yeah, this guy got a bunch of it.
And I just feel like, I mean, if there's any place where Niantic can kind of bend the rules and say, we're going to make all of the regionals available in this little square block area for people who've paid money and flown out here to buy a ticket and paid for flights or whatever, man, it feels like this is the place where Niantic could and should do that, right? Just make it available, even if you want to like limit and say it's going to be available for 1 hour. You'll be able to get a Tropius over here or a Chatot or whatever, 1 hour every day.
Yeah.
That seems like the right way to do it. Because the trading thing just got so difficult to kind of wind your way around, and all the things that people wanted. And
Yeah.
you're there with a bunch of people who are pretty much in the same Midwest limited collection as you. So everybody has the same things, everybody wants the same other things, and it makes it a lot tougher.
And they made it so that you couldn't do special trades. If you went to GoFest, you couldn't do special trades with someone who didn't have a ticket on the day you went.
Right.
Like for instance,
At all? I thought you were locked to
all,
one.
yeah.
You could trade with them, but you couldn't do special trades with them.
Okay.
So Zenzaloo was walking around with us, but he didn't have a ticket for that day, for Friday. And I was going to trade him something, and then I realized, oh, you don't have a ticket. It's not going to let us do a special trade.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. They're trying to make it so that, people don't just swamp the trading area even on days that they're not supposed to be there.
Sure.
But yeah. And then also, while we're talking about trading, I've got a couple of lucky friends that are, forever away from me that I know only because of this podcast. Realistically, I mean, I forgot to do my lucky trade with Barry, so maybe next year. But there's a guy that I know from Twitter, and what's his name? Clutchito, I think is what it is. But we're not going to be able to trade, at least realistically. I maybe eventually sometime there is a small percentage that we might be able to, but I would love it, and we've mentioned this before, I would love it if Niantic would make it so that if you become lucky friends, you can do that one lucky trade at a distance.
Yeah, remote lucky best friend trades. Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
I actually just opened a gift from Clutch Alito AH3 or whatever it is here in the game. Clutch Alito 23AH is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and I was scanning through this article, and he's talking about how he works at schools and he goes to different ones, and he met a student who plays, and they wanted a shiny and a normal sunglasses Squirtle from him, which he had, and it took forever to get up to Ultra Friends to reduce that cost, and then he didn't always bring his phone to school because it's a school, and so it's like aligning the stars, uh, yeah. And then he plays like me, apparently, because I don't raid daily, so each day I don't go meet local players wasted. It says it's going to take him 180 days to get rid of his inventory of extra stuff because of the one special trade a day. And I get the whole, well, I guess I'll be honest, and maybe it's just me being dense. I don't get the whole limiting it to one. Five seemed decent because, and we've always talked about the Stardust, right? Haven't y'all need? We've made fun of Joe itching for the Stardust, and but as it is a thing. I like his phrase in this: "The dust is a thing." It's just a little too chokeholdy, right? A little too tight.
Too much of a bottleneck.
So,
Yep.
And I want to read this conclusion he has because I think it's very poignant. Asked me a year ago, and I was 100% down for the limits. No one at Niantic has said this publicly, but there are two big reasons to make trading so costly. This is why they should do, or why they make it costly. One, if there's no in-game barrier, people could sell real money for real money rare Pokemon. And two, if there's no in-game barrier, spoofing is incentivized, as spoofers can ask for hard-to-find Pokés like shinies and exchange it for easy-to-get regionals, so on and so forth. But he feels that legit players are punished for the actions of cheaters, which is something I've said all along. And really just needs to be tweaked. It's not horrible. It just needs a little bit of a, okay, we realize this tight will keep spoofers out. Let's relax it and see how much spoofing increases or how much cheating or anything else increases. And,
Well, and theoretically, the spoofing should be cutting back because they, we talked about it. What was it last week? We talked about they had the cease and desist against that company.
Yeah.
Against the Pokemon or the Global Plus Plus people.
Yeah.
So theoretically, that should be cutting down a lot of the spoofers. So.
Yeah. Hopefully, it will help, and that's a whole other conversation. It's just going to be the same thing we've had before, but yeah, hopefully Niantic seems to have been listening some to the community in the past year. They've definitely shown improvements and tweaks and those kind of things. So maybe they're listening.
Well,
now.
I'm sure they're listening to the community. They just don't always act on what they hear.
Well, okay, that is fair. Now, there's another article related to Go Fest, and we've talked about this a little bit last week. We didn't have many details. We talked about how it rained out crazy on Sunday, and Saturday it rained out crazy. And they said there'll be a makeup day for everybody. Do we have more news on the details on that?
Yeah, so we were wondering how that would work specifically, and it looks like, based on this person's anecdotal evidence, it looks like how Niantic handled it was on the people's account who had tickets. It overwrote spawns that were happening for other people. So he went to an area where a Rhyhorn had spawned, and it was a 100% Rhyhorn that had been called out, and he found a 100% what was
Sunkern.
it? A Sunkern. Yeah. And then a little bit later, someone called out a 100% Natu, and he went over there and caught a 100%
Togetic.
Yeah, Togetic, which that would be pretty sweet.
No kidding. Yeah.
But it appears because that is a statistical anomaly. If it didn't overwrite the spawns that were already there, keeping the IVs apparently, having that happen is astronomically, like basically statistically impossible.
Right. Buy a lottery ticket, or Niantic did something for with the odds for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like it just overwrote but kept the IVs of spawns that other people were having. Now, I did hear reports that if you went to an area with a nest, the nest Pokemon did not get overwritten. And so you really didn't want to go to a park with a nest if you were participating in the Go Fest makeup day. So,
Okay.
but
Because you wouldn't get the makeup spawns.
yeah, you wouldn't get the makeup spawns. But from everything I heard, people who participated, although they didn't have the Go Fest experience, the amount of Go Fest specific spawns were good.
Good.
So
Good.
Cool.
the biggest issue that I suspect people may have had, and I haven't seen anybody complaining about this, but if you wanted to go to Go Fest and hang out in a specific biome to catch specific Pokemon, you couldn't do that on the makeup day.
Because they didn't have the biomes. I mean, whatever biome you're in. They didn't have the 5 or 6 different ones.
Exactly.
For your area, yeah. Well, that makes sense. That would take a lot of coding, right, worldwide to make that.
Oh yeah, that it's not realistic for them to set up biomes basically everywhere, and to communicate where they were, and yeah.
So that is interesting. I don't know that I realized that if you, Jeff, you and I are playing in the same area, and you find 100% IV Pokemon, that it would say the same for everybody who caught it.
If you are level 30 or above.
Okay.
So below level 30, it has actually different IVs for each level. So 2 level 29s would catch the same thing, but a level 27 and a level 29, not so much.
Okay.
And then level 30 and above, all of those IVs are the same.
I gotcha. Now, I was just opening gifts as you were talking, and one of the gifts opened was from El Gringo Suave. Turns out he has another gift for us. A raid counter graphic, which is a hybrid. It's not quite the one I like, and it's not quite the one or that Ibit hates or the one that Ibit likes, but it's somewhere in between. I think I'm curious to get your takes. I think this is a nice style here. What do you think, Ibit?
Nice
I'm
medium
looking at it
ground.
right now here. I like this one a lot, actually. This is a cool style. Oh, we've seen this one before too, Captain Goldfish. Yeah, I do like this kind of almost stylized, rough, Disneyfied Pokemon artwork.
Yeah, like color penciled even.
Yeah, I mean the Disney's notorious for using the same, like a darker color of the same color of the body for something as the outline, instead of it being a black outline like
I gotcha.
The other ones. And the you know the Who's a What's This down there in the bottom corner, the Murkrow is the black outline one, but like the Kyogre and the Feraligatr, I really like this style. This is cool. I can get behind this one.
Now for the Groudon, who will be out from June 27th to July 10th. Apparently the top counters by charge move is on this chart. You got Solar Beam, Fire Blast, and Earthquake. And Roserade actually shows up twice here. Doesn't she look like a character from Inside Out? Like she could be the sixth emotion.
Especially with this art style.
Yeah, very much. And then not just Kyogre, shiny Kyogre is what you need for the Mighty Groudon.
Oh, good thing. Look at how convenient that I just got one.
So yeah, you got Kyogre, Roserade, Feraligatr. I didn't say that right. It's did I say that right?
It's Feraligatr.
Yeah, Feraligatr. Gary and
Gyarados.
Gyarados, yeah. Mammoth Swine, I'm gonna get it. Bulbasaur's not Venusaur. Yeah, that's Venusaur.
Yeah,
Why is Venusaur? That's interesting, Joe. Why is it
Why is
Venusaur?
he so derpy?
He is derpy. Look at his eyes. He's got derpy eyes.
No, the reason he's there is because it's grass type.
Okay. And the legacy move on it specifically is what they're, and the legacy on
Frenzy Plant is its community day move.
That was the community move, right? Yep.
Gotcha.
That's what all of the starters that say legacy, it's their community day moves.
All right, I gotcha. So really cool thing, easy to understand. I love all these little graphical charts. So As we all know, I don't really go raid. But if I were to raid, I would absolutely have these in my photo. Yeah, why is my phone not charging? That's weird.
Well, I
I,
mean, what you would do is you'd go in and set up a team right now and make sure that you've got the right
yeah,
moveset, and you'd call that team Groudon Killer or something
yeah,
like that.
that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
And
I
your phone
I
would
didn't
probably
think of
charge if you had Shazam next to you.
that. I actually haven't something's weird with the adapter or whatever because I haven't plugged in, but it's not doing anything. So no, that's neither here nor there. We got new other stuff coming on. We got some research breakthrough. I saw an announcement of a new Spinda coming and some EX Raid updates.
Well, so they actually corrected that.
Ah,
They said a new Spinda was coming.
they did.
But what is actually coming is a shiny Spinda.
Yeah. Now we're
Okay.
talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see Spinda and I see the update. Yeah. So if you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. So from July 1st, these are field research updates, right? From July 1st, 1 p.m. Pacific to September 1st,
Yeah.
the box
For
will
2
have,
months.
Latios, Kyogre. I can finally get my Kyogre and Groudon will be available as research break. I don't have any of those. So guess who's going to be stamping that passport all those 2 months? This guy, in case
That's
you didn't.
cool. I wonder if are the old ones staying in, or are they replacing all the old ones with
Please-
Latios?
Please
Kyogre, and
replace
Groudon?
them. Please
So
replace them.
no more Ho-Ohs or Raikus or anything like that. Hopefully, because that's what Charles is going to keep getting is a bunch of
You know,
Ho-Ohs and Raikus.
I love my Ho-Oh, and I like the ones I've got. But I got them. I'm one and done. I don't need a living dex. I'm good. I don't even need to power them up. I'm just one and done.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
absolutely, because those are the 4. Man, that's going to be my adventure for the next 2 months. It's like, yep, I stamped another one this week. Hey, dang it if I didn't get another Lugia. Yeah. And then the X-Rays are going to have the speed form of Deoxys.
Yes. Which isn't all that great because speed is not represented well in Pokemon Go. So unless they rechange the CP algorithm again. But yeah.
Yeah. But I do believe the mandates from the overlords is gotta catch them all, Joe. Not they all have to be worthwhile. You just gotta catch them all.
Ain't that the truth?
Exactly.
There are a lot of pathetic Pokemon.
It's a bummer that none of the raids up in five parks are EX raid gyms. So even with all of us, and we had 20 people, 18 to 20 people at each gym, none of that's going to unfortunately result in an EX raid pass for me. So I got to do some stuff down here apparently.
Maybe you should find someone that has is high level in Ingress that can start submitting more stuff. Or go on to what's the map thing that they use again? OpenStreetMap. Go in there and mark it as a different. You can you can play with that in order to manipulate how Niantic parses the data. Because there's a guy at my work that has been doing that, and he is high level in Ingress, so he's been submitting stuff for Ingress that has been turning into Pokestops. We actually, within the past few weeks, have gained 3 new Pokestops at work.
Oh, wow.
And
that's cool.
one of them, if I get a little bit of GPS drift, I can actually spin from my desk.
Nice.
So, but only if I get some GPS drift.
Well, cool. I would love regular Kyogre and, of course, a shiny. And the easiest way to tell the difference is it goes from blue to purple. They did it again. I love when they do that because it's so obvious they have a shiny.
Really dramatic color changes for sure. Those, for sure the best.
So the newest one coming out, if it's not out yet, because I don't remember the dates, Mudkip, Marshtomp, and Swampert go from blue and gold to purple and gold. Although the color change for Marshtomp or Marshtamp, whatever. I like Stomp because he stomps you.
Yeah,
it is Stomp.
He goes from a little bit of a robot look in this normal form to I don't know what's going on in the purple form because his eyes, with that color, his eyes look really pinpoint and like,
His eyes do look a
hey,
little
man.
bugged out, don't
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
That's funny.
yeah, I love that. I love not having to worry about the. Does it have the little stars on it because it changed the eye color and that's it? But that's cool. So it goes from blue to purple, makes it easy. Are you looking?
Yeah.
Well, I know you look for all the shinies. But are you looking for that one specifically?
I look for them, but I don't. I'm not a shiny chaser. I'm okay if I don't get a shiny of something. If I get one, great. I'm happy to have it, but I'm not.
Theoretically, if you go out for community day, you should get one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Unless you're just super unlucky.
Yeah.
And I had bad luck with. Oh, what was that? I think it was.
Slack off.
Go Fest.
Well, I had bad luck with GoFest for sure, but it was the. It wasn't Slack Off. It was the pillows or the Swinub, because I didn't get any shinies until I actually left the town with all of the Pokestops that I was walking through. And as I was making my way back home, that's when I got like 3 shinies on the way home. So it's weird. It's really weird how all that stuff finds its way and balances its way out.
And what are the dates again for the next community day, Joe?
July 21st.
Okay.
21st, Sunday, July 21st.
Okay. So because that with that drastic of a change, and it's a larger Pokemon, because I think the last time I took the young ones out, it was for Barboach, which is
Torchic? Oh.
no, I
Barboach?
didn't get to make it
Barboach
out.
didn't get one.
Not Barboach. You're right. Barboach didn't get one. Meltan, not Meltan. It doesn't matter. It was a while back, and he was little. It was a little one, and Zoe kept calling it the phone charger because it would look like to her. It turns into the big metal monster. I forget the name of it right now, but it's back in the spring. Joe is hurting Joe's brain that I'm not getting this. Nicole got it.
Beldum?
Yes.
Beldum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's so small, and then its shiny was not a huge. I mean, it's drastic enough for me, but for the kids, they didn't understand. So this being a larger Pokemon, big colors, they're going to know the difference. I think I'll make sure to take them out for that, so they can.
And his evolved form is the Final Fantasy VIII spider.
Yeah. Now that one only goes 3. That one didn't get a special Sinnoh evolution yet, did it? It's Magneton that got the Sinnoh.
Yeah, well, it only goes 3. It doesn't get another evolution.
Yeah, there's nothing beyond Metagross.
There's Megas at some point.
Mega Metagross?
Yeah,
that's
what I'm looking for.
Master Gross.
But no other Charles. That is because that's an inside thing.
Mega Metagross is a thing, but
well, I'm just saying I want the little blue cap on top of my Metagross for my Mega Metagross. It'd be awesome. We got a APK because we got some big updates coming down the pipe, right? It's about that time. And this is for, of course, the Android version is what they dive into. That's what the APKs are. Some of the highlights. You get a Mewtwo change? That's interesting. Mewtwo A form change?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that signifies. It could be... see if I can pull up a picture real quick so you guys can see it. But it could be the Team Rocket Mewtwo. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like.
No.
Okay, let me Google. But basically, he's got a whole bunch of cybernetic enhancements on him that Team Rocket had put on him. Here, I just put it in the Twitch chat, which I'm not sure if Charles is in there, so I'll put it in our Zoom chat as well.
Well, I'm looking it up. It's fine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and
wow.
that would be awesome, especially because they're hinting heavily at a Team Rocket event on the horizon, and so that would be super cool in my opinion.
Iron Mewtwo.
Yeah, the Team Rocket Mewtwo.
Okay, all right. So he's got a dark purple tail that's really long, and dark purple eyes and fully silver body.
Well, it's got armor.
Yeah,
he's got like Tony Stark kind of armor on him.
Okay, So apparently, so I pulled. So it's only wanting to pull up cards on my search, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But yeah, I found the card. It says Rockets Mewtwo. Yeah, well, that's the EX version as well. Sorry. So
Yeah, you need to find the one from the movie or the anime rather than.
well, I'm sure
cards.
it'll be in our show notes, and they can go to PokemonGoPodcast.com and click on the show notes and see the picture. It'll be super easy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this next highlight because it sounds rough. A purified Pokemon, like we're already trading the candies to a farm upstate, to get those candies. So I mean, now we're gonna purify them,
live up in a farm,
puree them.
So in a couple of the games, the only one that I've played and only a tiny bit because I didn't have the game, but my older brother did. Pokemon Coliseum, you could run into shadow Pokemon that other people had. You could purify them, so you could cleanse them of the shadow element, and then you would catch them and take them from the bad guys.
Don't they have that in the Switch game as well? When we go up to, did you not go to the haunted house? Didn't they have? Wasn't there something like that in the haunted house?
Oh, no,
not quite.
So
not quite.
Yeah, when you go, you're talking about it at the in not Viridian, Lavender Town. In Lavender Town, when you visit the tower there and you see the ghosts, you just need to have the Sylph scope in order to see the ghosts. I guess you do.
Okay, yeah. I thought they were.
No, this is different.
Yeah,
okay.
So they might have something in that like that in this game. It looks like possibly.
That's what the most prevalent theories are, and it makes sense to me since it is a mechanic that has precedence, albeit in a obscure isn't quite it is a lesser known Pokemon title on the both of them are on the GameCube. Jacket K said the other one is Pokemon XD Gate of Darkness. But
Gale of Darkness.
Gale, yeah. Gale. Sorry, I was glancing around my microphone to look at chat. But yeah, both of those are on the GameCube, and they are. I mean, they're not the main series games, so take that for what it's worth. But I think it could be an interesting mechanic based on how they implement it. So we've got actually two different APK teardowns here for, and these are the Android versions, but it's 0.147.0 and then 0.147.1. And they also hint at having new type of raids as well, called invasion battles. And so
is this mixing with our Marvel game a bit, where we're just gonna have the same glowy-eyed versions of Mewtwo to fight against now?
Kind of, yeah. That's what it feels like, right?
What do you think? Yeah. Have you heard of anything like this before in Pokemon Invasions?
I mean, just the purified aspect is just from Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, as far as I know. In the .1 breakdown, it actually found a bunch of different ones that have shadow and purified forms. And just scanning through it, most of them are Gen 1, with a couple from other generations, specifically Crobat, because Zubat has a shadow and purified form, and then Mudkip. So perhaps on that community day, maybe community days will start having some of these shadow Pokemon popping up.
That would be interesting. And looking at the 0.1 breakdown, talking about invasions, I like what it says here. If it comes out this way, this sounds interesting. And I will say, they being Niantic, keeps coming up with ways of making this game more and more entertaining and interactive. But it says, from what they can tell, a Pokestop either gets invaded or has an incident. They're not sure about that part. A grunt of a various type is then assigned to it, and you have to then battle the grunt or grunts, as it may be. And if you win, you have a chance at catching the shadow Pokemon. So very much like a raid, but it sounds more like a solo game
Right.
adventure type raid of, hey, this is my interpretation. This is what I'm hoping coming out. But Niantic's going, hey, we understand some of you like playing by yourself, but you still want to have this experience. So just like the Pokemon game where I've had to fight the gyms, right? You had to fight through the grunts to get to the master of the gym to fight them. And then, of course, you don't win their Pokemon, but you win the badge. But in this case, you get a chance to catch the Pokemon, it sounds like.
Well, what if it's something related to remember how on the last day of Go Fest they had all those
The
gyms that turned
1,000,
into
yeah.
Meowths?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something related to that because that certainly felt like a Meowth invasion, and if it's
Got
a
you.
Team Rocket invasion raid-like battles, then Rocket and Meowth were hand in hand. So I know that much about the Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We'll have to see how it happens. But
Yeah, it looks interesting. And then
Mhm.
the point zero teardown. And how quickly do you think behind each other are we going to get? Because it's two different teardowns. Or do you think you'll get those
right,
APKs back to
we'll get
back?
Yeah.
the last one. I mean, we probably won't get both. My guess
Yeah,
is
we
that
just had one on iOS. I'm not sure which.
yeah,
See, that's the difficulty with these teardowns. Sometimes it's hard to
Yeah,
it's when they come rapidly like this. It's hard to determine which is which as far as the iOS updates go.
hmm
Um, but yeah, a lot of the other stuff is more background oriented.
right.
Though I did want to mention that Apple Watch support has been removed. So
oh,
they
and a
announced
lone
this a while
tear
back.
falls from somebody's eye, but it ain't mine.
But yeah, they announced this a while back, but it appears that it's officially been pulled from the master files in the APK. So,
Mhm.
Well, the one thing I wanted to ask about because I thought it was funny the way you phrased it. Kangaroo and Kangaroo version 2 in parentheses. No idea what these are, but it's already in version 2, so it must be good.
Already the second version of the kangaroo. Woo!
It just says Kangaroo settings and enable Kangaroo V2. Um, but that doesn't really help us figure out anything, right, Joe?
I think Kangaroo is an API,
Hmm.
um, but I haven't looked into more specifics than that. But I think it's a library that they're referencing.
The kangaroo. Gotcha. Like a code library. Sure.
Like
That makes
Python
sense.
or something. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Swift or whatever. Yeah.
No, not like Python, which is a programming language.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me for throwing out the one term that I know deals
So like
with
It's
basic,
like,
crap.
I know a buzzword. Here's a buzzword. We'll just throw that out
We're
there.
no
like
Tiger
basic maybe,
Synergy.
or Fortran or COBOL.
Yeah, like Pokey Bitcoin. Something like that. I don't know.
I've programmed in COBOL before at my current job.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, on to more Pokemon stuff.
Yes, please.
There's a new list of countries that can add stops now.
Yeah, so an updated list as of yesterday, June 26th. It is slowly spreading throughout the world.
Yet not to us
with,
yet.
with one
Yeah.
glaring omission. This looks like that end title card at the end of Planet of the
Oh, yeah.
Apes, the newer Planet of the Apes, where the virus is starting to spread around the country as people fly from place to place.
Well, you notice it's missing Japan,
Yeah.
Russia, most of Europe, Australia, and North America. So
Yeah.
it's
Now-
it's very clear that they are slowly working this in, since
Yeah.
a lot of the major countries that play don't have it.
I'm sure it's been mentioned on the show, but this map made me go, I did not realize that China cannot play Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge player base. That's a minute.
Yeah.
Yep. And I want
They
to
play Digimon Go.
I want to say that that's China's fault, not Niantic's fault.
Well, I would imagine is
Yeah, it's
probably there's a few countries that have the color that says they can't play. And I would imagine it is that country saying no for one reason or another.
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like Saudi Arabia's in there, and quite a few things in the Middle East, except for Egypt. Egypt is like one of the lone things in the Middle East that's that's able to play.
Yeah. So, of course, the big news that came down is we have an anniversary next week. July 4th is going to be our 3 years on air. And Niantic is going, hey, guys, thanks for being on air for 3 years.
Yeah.
So they did drop. I'm trying to find it. There it is. They dropped the news. And, of course, Joe, as always, you'll have the pleasure of reading it. But I have it up on the screen. If you're watching at home, if you're listening on the podcast, you can pull up the news tab and see the announcement that just came out today, the 27th. And go ahead, Joe, take it away.
Yeah, so for the anniversary, they are making it so that shiny Alolan Pokemon will be popping up. It says encountering, it doesn't say hatch. So they may be popping up on the world map specifically. But it mentions, and this might be all of the Alolan Pokemon. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Rattata, Sandshrew, Vulpix, Diglett, Meowth, Geodude, Grimer, and Executor. And I linked an image of the shiny forms in the Twitch chat, and for Charles, it's in our show notes if you scroll down a little bit.
It's cool because, especially Sandshrew, I've been wanting one of those green Alolan Sandshrews for a while. Or shiny green Alolan Sandshrew. That's so much to say.
The green one is the regular Sandshrew, not the
regular shiny. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing a photo of the shiny Alolan. Let me find that. But because some of these we've seen on the maps, right? Rattata we've seen on the maps, and Vulpix and Grimer, or not Grimer.
Vulpix hasn't popped up on the map.
No?
So available to catch in the wild has been Rattata, Diglett, and Geodude, and Executor.
Okay.
And I think Meowth might have been.
Oh, you know what it was? We saw them on the map. They actually the Alolan Vulpix popped up on the map at Go Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the snow biome.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Yeah, this is great.
So beyond the Alolans, which is awesome, we've got a familiar face returns to the party. Once per day, you might have a chance to encounter a Pikachu wearing a party hat when you take a Go snapshot photo. And you may hatch a Pichu wearing a party hat.
From 7K eggs.
From 7K eggs, yeah. How do you feel about that? 'Cause, I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then what else?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. We had them last year, so it's like if you're brand new to the game in the last year, great. You're gonna get to try and get some party hat Pikachus, but it's like, oh, I just deleted a bunch of those. It always takes 2 steps because it asks you, are you sure you want to get rid of this? Like, yes, I do.
Yeah. Now here's an interesting thing to catch people up. It sounds like, which I like because we've played many a game in the past where if you started early, you got everything. But if you came 3 years at this point, 3 years have passed and you're in the game now, it feels like you've missed a whole lot. Part of the event from June 28th to September 2nd, so another roughly 2 months. Not quite 2 months. It's a month and a week or something like that. No, 2 months and a week. I don't know. Math is a strong suit of not mine. Looking to get up to speed with your research? Do you have a friend who wants to play but feels like they've missed out on too much? Don't worry. Complete new special research for helpful rewards. Which sounds like they're going to help catch everybody out. Which sounds like Terry Wolf is just going to get a whole lot of repeats.
That's right. Exactly.
Yep.
We're re-releasing Gen 2 in big numbers.
But apparently these special research are only available for players level 10 or higher.
I see it doesn't say that in the in-game news. Okay.
Yeah, it says it in the big post.
All right. I gotcha. Now, how or what does this exactly mean? Especially how fast? Take down raid bosses faster and earn extra bonus premier balls to catch them when you raid with friends. Is that like a friendship thing where we have a stronger attack power?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
the yeah.
you already get a bonus if you are battling with, depending on how high the highest friend you're battling with, you get a bonus for that. So I'm assuming they're increasing that bonus. You also already get extra premier balls when if you're raiding with a friend. So I assume they're increasing that bonus as well.
All right, and then trading. This might get some people's feathers in a ruffle. I had to think of a proper way to phrase this. Feathers in a ruffle. We just read. We started off with the trading economy from GoFest,
Right.
and it was cut to half.
Stardust.
It was cut to
Yeah.
half Stardust. This event takes it down to
A
three
quarter.
quarters. No, it's three quarters. It says one quarter
Yeah,
less.
it takes it down exactly.
three
So it takes down
quarters.
to 3/4. Yeah.
Not half.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I was like,
And,
yeah,
I've added an infographic for the exact numbers in
Oh,
our show notes as well. So
cool.
if you wanted to take a look at that, basically, if you're best friends and you're trading something that you both already have, it brings it down to 75 Stardust.
Hmm.
If you're trading something that you don't both have and it's not shiny or legendary, then it's only 600 Stardust.
I wonder why they reduce it by half for Fest and only by a quarter for the anniversary. It's just an interesting number, right? Just to kind of, we'll take 25% off. I mean, it's still helpful.
Mhm.
Clearly, they should have done a full third since it's their third anniversary.
See, they need you on their marketing
Yeah,
team,
that would be
Joe.
that would be the clever way of doing it for sure.
Yeah, that would work. Although it still won't help Joe out because he is all out of Stardust from trading and evolving and everything else that he does. Well, that's the headlines and all the news you can use this week. Joe, do we have any new patrons?
No.
Okay. Well, that makes us sad. that. Dun, dun. I don't know if we can afford to keep all three hosts on the show. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to everybody. That's me. I hate when shows do that. I started to play with
That
I'm
could be a
that.
funny lead-in though.
But if you would like to support the show, patreon.com/Pokemon Go Podcast is how you do that. And it definitely helps, and we very much love it. If you're here on Twitch live, twitch.tv, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Twitch.tv/Pokemon Go Podcast. Subscriptions, right? Amazon and Twitch Prime.
Mhm.
Well, you can have free subscriptions, so throw that token at us, and we'd love that. That'd be awesome.
If you're not using it, give it to us.
Yeah, man. And if you are using it, okay, that's cool. You like somebody better than us? It's fine. It's fine.
But I bet whoever you're using on isn't as cool as us. So,
So yeah, it's an awesome thing that when people support us, we really, you're awesome. And if you do support us on Patreon or Twitch, you've got great people to hang out with, and especially on Patreon, you've got swag and different things. We just sent out. Actually, Joe hand delivered a number of swag packs at Pokemon Go Fest, and then we're mailing out the rest of them.
been seeing Steven Radke painted his medallion. Some really cool stuff that we've seen from this. So
Yeah,
those packages, except the one that's going to Malaysia, should have arrived sometime between Tuesday and today.
cool.
Oh, so everybody that qualified should have them, more or less. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. And it has some custom artwork from yours truly. So, and then of course the 3D medallions, like you guys were mentioning.
Yeah. So awesome. Joe, what time is it?
It is time for random trivia. And this week, what?
The Hall of Fame.
Yes. This week I want to talk about Mudkip, who is the mudfish Pokemon. And Marshtomp and Swampert are also the Mudfish Pokemon. Uh, Mudkip starts off as just a water type, but Marshtomp and Swampert are water ground type, which from a main series game level helps quite a bit since you are invulnerable to electric type attacks. So that's pretty nice right there in and of itself.
For sure.
The Pokedex entry talks about how the fin on Mudkip's head actually acts as a radar, being able to sense movement both in the water and in the air. So that's pretty nice, especially if it's in murky water or something, it can still find its prey. Marshstomp's Pokedex entry talks about how its body has developed a thin film around it so that it can live on the land in addition to living in the water. And then Swampert's Pokedex entry talks about how it's become super strong at this point and can push around boulders that weigh more than a ton. And that it has, in addition to the fin, it has two fins actually as Marshtomp, which is pretty neat. But I guess, but it specifically says that its eyesight is enhanced as well, Swampert's. So.
Oh yeah, because his in Marshtomp, his eyes are like yellow with little dots, the little black dots in there.
Yeah.
The little beady eyes.
Yes.
So yeah. Marshtomp is actually the only middle evolution water type starter Pokemon that has two types. So it gains that ground type. So that's fun. Mega Swampert is pretty nice. So when Megas get added to the game, he'll be able to kick some butt, especially with the Community Day move. Apparently, Nintendo of Europe held a poll, and Mudkip was voted as the fans' favorite starter.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Of all,
Yeah.
like, of just that generation, or of all the generations?
Well, it says that Typhlosion and Blastoise, so those are different generations there,
Yeah.
came in second.
So it must have been generation independent. That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Good old Iron Mudkip.
I'm not going to lie, that actually surprises me that it wasn't a Gen 1.
Yeah, a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle or something, right?
Yeah.
Charizard. Interesting.
Well, what does Nintendo of Europe know? Mudkip is expected to come from Mud Skipper. And I feel like we've done Mudkip before because I want to say you mentioned Mud Skippers before specifically.
Yeah. Especially from the Ren and Stimpy days. The what was that? What was the Mud Kipper? The Mud Skipper? Dang it! What was anyway?
They talk like this. It has a cigar.
Cartoon, I think of Skippy the Mud Skipper or something like that. That's the only reason I know about Mud Skippers.
Well, there you go. And then what is it? Calvin and Hobbes. People are saying that.
Yeah, he totally looks like Calvin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That Mudkip looks like Calvin. Marsh Stomp. The name comes from marsh and stomp. Swampert comes from swamp, and
Hurt.
well, people they're debating whether it's between expert and rampart.
Oh, interesting. Rampart. Huh.
So
okay.
Swampert. I would go with expert, especially since his Pokedex entry specifically talks about how he can see very well in muddy water, as if he is the expert of the swamp.
That's fun. Yeah, swamp expert. Okay.
But yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So get out there on. Now we still got a few weeks because it's not till July 21st. But get out there and get yourself a shiny Mudkip. Also, stay tuned to see what bonuses we're gonna get because there's actually um, different sources say different things right now. So we'll have to wait and see what that ends up happening on that one. So
When you say bonuses, you mean the
the
legacy move or the
well, I don't think the legacy move has been announced. At least I haven't seen anything yet. But I'm talking specifically about bonus catch experience or catch Stardust.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we do always get something like that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, one source says Stardust and one source says experience. So we'll just have to
Okay.
see.
Well, we shall find out for sure. So
Very cool.
we've got our own 3-year anniversary, right? Because well, for Joe, it's 3 years and 8 months or something like
Right,
that.
because
'cause
he started.
he's on,
started a lot earlier.
yeah,
And-
he's
Yeah,
on
something like that.
metric calendar or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm on the Aztec calendar.
But yeah,
The world
so
has already ended. It's glorious. The Pokemon revolution has begun.
the Pokelution.
That's right.
So
So
we
next
are
week-
we are trying to celebrate as well, and we're going to be doing, and we're still good for July 4th, right? I know it's a American holiday, which actually kind of makes it a little bit easier for all of us to get together, depending on plans. But
Yes,
looks like
yeah,
we're
because
good.
we stay home on July 4th because we have a dog that freaks out big time
Yeah.
with fireworks, and even though we dope her up with stuff from the vet, like stuff that's made for dogs, we don't, I know we're in Colorado,
Special
we
doggy
don't,
cookies.
exactly, yes, CBD treats. Um, but yeah, no, we have to stay home that day, so there will be an episode next week on July 4th for the 3-year anniversary of not only the game but this show as well.
Yeah,
Official 3-year anniversary
yeah, and it's a special for another reason.
is for one more reason. Yeah. So been figuring out how to talk about this. So a lot of that I work on a bunch of other podcasts, and one of them in particular is a massive amount of time. It's called America's Next Top Podcaster, and it's a reality show competition with a bunch of podcasters. And basically, we look for we get a contestant base of inexperienced, brand new to podcasting folks like Charles, folks who thought I could sneak that one in. No, inexperienced and new podcasters, and we work with them with some of the pros like Tom Merritt, formerly of CNET Podcasting, and Molly Wood of Marketplace, and Jenny Josephson, and Justin Robert Young of Night Attack fame, Scott Johnson of Frog Pants, all that stuff, and basically give them coaching and growth and that sort of thing. That thing is a massive time taker, and unfortunately what that means is that I'm having to kind of readjust some priorities and leave a show that I'm really bummed about leaving, a show that I've always enjoyed being part of, and great co-hosts, and just really a really good team to be part of. So next week will be my last episode of the Pokemon Go podcast as a regular contributor. Now, if they'll have me, I'll still come back occasionally as a guest co-host. But
Nope, dead to us. Bye.
in that case, next week will be my last. Anyway, so next week will be my last episode as a recurring regular member of the show, and wanted to thank these guys for letting me join along with them for the past 3 years on this this experience, this great time we've had on the show. And next week will be kind of a, as we enter into the 4th year of Pokemon Go, it'll be a chance for me to talk about how much I've enjoyed being part of this thing, both with the game and the podcast for the past 3 years. So there you go. That's That's the news.
Yeah, there's no good way to end that announcement, right? You just
Boy,
gotta.
that's why we didn't do it at the beginning of
Yeah.
the show. It makes sense.
So definitely, we were already asking for your phone calls and emails, and I know that some calls have already come in, and I'm saving them. Even if it may have been intended for tonight, and I do apologize if it was like, well, that was timely information, but it's from the one I saw for sure was from Buckeye Fitzy, and I know typically he gives just good words for the show. So if it was timely for this week, I'm sorry because I just kind of assumed it's for next week because we started asking last week for it. But yeah, if you would get those emails in, Pokemon Go at show at PokemonGoPodcast.com. And then, of course, at PokemonGoPodcast.com is the tab there, and you can leave your message about why you play the game, why you love the show, or say your goodbyes to Emmett, because after Pokemon Go, there's just nothing left for him. He's going to retire from podcasting. You know, there's just.
Be sure to watch out for my new podcast, Harry Potter Wizards Unite podcast. I'm totally kidding.
So. Yeah, come and say your word. And of course, we'll be live. And you know what? On the podcast, a lot of people can't listen live because of timing, right? They're working or school. It's for the United States, it's a holiday,
Right.
and Twitch is mobile, right? You can get the mobile app on Twitch and just tune into Pokemon Go Podcast. And even if you're out getting ready, because it's going to be early in most parts of the country, and we do this at 7:30 Eastern. So it's way before fireworks time. But if you're out, got your seats, you can still watch. And maybe this is your opportunity to jump in live and have your say. And there's going to be a few little change. Obviously, that's the biggest change. So there's going to be some adjustments for the show as we go through. But by all means, we wouldn't have done this without you to start with. Because I remember a little behind baseball, the original conversation we had in a meeting about this show and bringing it onto the network. And I'm sitting here going, I've never played Pokemon ever. I just kind of know what they are. I'll produce this thing. And digitally, because we weren't like in the same room, but digitally we all kind of looked at each other and it was like, I don't have the schedule. And Klaus was like, I don't have the schedule. And Joe's like, yeah, I just banhammer people in League of Legends. I'm like, well, I guess I'm hosting the show. Let's cross our fingers and hope for. But obviously, I wouldn't have done it without you. And then Klotz says, we might have to get Klotz back on because he kicked this off.
For the anniversary show for sure.
Yeah, yeah, somewhat. Because of Nicole, I think is why he got back into playing. She's such a super mod. She flew to the U.S. to smack him and tell him to start playing again.
Good. Seems right. Yes.
But yeah, so. That's going to be it for the podcast. You can tune in. We're going to give you where you can find us here, but you can tune in. Try to make a special effort if you can. Tune in next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on July 4th to hang out with us for that special show. Email, again, is show at Pokemon Go Podcast. PokemonGoPodcast.com is what I meant to say. And then on that .com is the SpeakPipe tab. Any device that will touch the internet and let you record, like your iPhone, your Android tablet, whatever has a microphone. You have up to 90 seconds, and you can do it from anywhere in the world for free, and just leave us a voicemail. Reddit's r/Pokemon Go Podcast. Facebook is Pokemon Go Podcast. Twitter's at Pokemon Go Pod. And if you're interested in tuning into that special show, twitch.tv/Pokemon Go Podcast is how you'll find that. And, of course, we got merch. You can check us out, tiny.cc/GSTU. All 4 letters are capitalized. GSTU. This is a tiny.cc link. That's for the whole network. As it up there, we got 3 shirts up there right now for Valor, Instinct, and the other team. That Marshstop is so ashamed of that team, it changed its color more to be like red. So I'm just saying.
And what do you know? T-Public has yet another sale.
Yeah, a sale? What do you know? Yeah.
Of course there is.
I was about to say, in a strange event, there's no sale, but then the sale sign popped up. I was like, oh, just kidding.
So
it's like Old Navy not having a sale on T-shirts and performance fleece or something. There's always a sale at Old Navy.
And you know what I just realized? We don't have any onesie designs up. We need to fix that.
Oh.
Yeah, we definitely need to expand our merchandising range. But you know what? I'll be getting with Tony over this next 2 weeks because I've got some time at home. We'll be doing that. So that'll go on the to-do list. Joe, where can they find you on the web?
Actually, real quick, I want
Sure.
to just mention one thing. Before, when we were talking about the happy anniversary announcement, if you look at the artwork for that, there are some Gen 5 Pokemon in that artwork.
Are there? I was looking and I didn't see anything I
Mhm.
didn't recognize.
So there is the oh shoot, I'm gonna forget their names. They're the Gen 5 starters. The little pig and the little let's see, Oshawott and Tepig are there, and I see Snivy as well. So the Gen 5 starters are there.
Those little cherries, because that's not a cherry.
No, not the cherries. No, underneath Togekiss,
I see the pig.
there's Tepig, and then underneath him is Oshawott.
Right.
And then over just beneath Lapras is Snivy.
Gotcha. Oh, and there's a Team Rocket hiding back there.
Yeah, Team Rocket hiding in the back.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah. So it'll probably still be a few months before we actually get them, but they are starting to tease them in the artwork. So.
But the cherries that are behind Cherim, see down into the like just to the bottom left of 3rd anniversary on the logo. We haven't got those yet, have we?
I have 2 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're babies. They hatch.
Oh, cherubies. Okay. All right. I remember seeing those in Detective Pikachu and wondering about those in the game. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, so they're in the game.
Nice.
Well, I love shadows. It's my favorite thing. That's the best way to do anniversaries, to give us some more stuff. I'll be excited.
Yep. But until then, you can find me on Twitter at Joseph_Ard.
You can find me at Coverville.
And you can find me all across the web at Rock Gotta Pod and Rock Gotta Podcasting, depending on the social platform. And live July 12th through 14th, I'll be at Atlanta Comic-Con with Tony P. Henderson. We're going to be doing a bunch of different moderations for celebrity panels. And we have our own show, Geek, Nerd, and Draw, that will be there as well. And you can come play with us live, and we'd appreciate that. But until that comes around, tune in to hear Joe say,
hurry up, somebody throw a master ball at Brian so he can't leave us. We will keep him trapped forever.
No.
Those haven't been added to the game. Niantic, please. We got to get him.
All right. So if you're obviously still live hanging out with us, we're going to do the voting. And there goes the show bot right there. So click on that link that Nicole just posted and come vote for what you want. I'm going to get this thing rendered, and then I'm going to jump in and look at the voting myself.
Oh, a new Vegas reference. I saw that pass through the Dr. Boris and Kems's dog. Didn't know what the heck that was a reference to, but New Vegas, so Fallout. I thought it was like a Las Vegas reference. I don't know that Las Vegas reference, and I thought I knew all the Las Vegas references.
He knows all of them.
I know all of them.
All right, get that going. Let's see. Before you jet, I need to ask you some questions about 3D printers.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I got to. If you're looking for a recommendation for one,
yes.
Yes. Crealty is making some great or I should say not under 200, but certainly under 300, like more in the 249 range that you can get on Amazon. So
nice.
Creality is a really good option.
Okay. I went to Amazon, did a quick search, because I realized when you were talking about the medallions, like, hey, I've been thinking about getting a 3D printer anyway, because I want one that you were talking about that you could hook to the internet and people could like, oh, I need this printed, so while I'm not printing, it prints and I can ship it out to
3D hubs. Yeah, using 3D hubs. Check that out because they changed their terms of service. I don't even think I qualify anymore for 3D hubs.
So, I was just thinking it'd be a fun thing, but it'd be definitely for the show. It'd be a nice thing to have. Like someone, hey, yeah, man, I know you don't do the show anymore, but we need some swag, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. And so Amazon had an article, and we're rendering right now. I'll read out these titles here in a second. But they had an article, and it came out monoprice maker, blah blah blah, for almost 300, just under 300. It says it's one of the best ones for a budget. All right, here are your titles.
Yeah.
Man, Zenzalu is spiking the box here a little bit. I think throwing his name in 4 times out of 6.
Wow. Well, you fill the ballot box exactly. Yeah.
Viva la Pokevolution is Zenzalu for 5 right
Like
now.
A lot. Yeah.
Jacket K at Poke Bitcoin at 3. Sort of geeked him. Throw your master balls at Brian at 3. You know what? I'm not even reading that one. He's dead to me.
He figured out a way to almost get you to read it and mention it.
Since it's low on the totem pole, he's still winning at 5. So everybody go vote real quick. We've still got about a minute left on this render.
That's funny. Yeah, I'll send you. I've got an article that I'm going to send you, Charles. That I actually Daryl Skeels, Trek Nerd, was asking me about this too. And this is a website that I trust. That's not like, oh, we just want the money.
Sure.
They're really good. So I'm going to throw it in your text message as well. Are you in chat as well?
I am now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm putting it in chat. It's an all 3DP link, and so the Prusa. The Prusa is a really good one if you can afford it, but I would say the Creality Ender 3 is a good inexpensive one that'll print some decent swag for the show and toys for the kids and stuff like that, and you can get it. It says under 200, but I don't think you can really get it under 200.
Yeah, that's fine. And I imagine because my father-in-law is huge on stuff to do with the kids, and he bought them robot kits this year and this and that and the other. And so I imagine hey, Pop Allen, we're looking at this for the kids. He'd be like, here you go, done. So
that's funny. Oh, look, we got a tie. I thought Viva La Pokelution was going to take it. So if I'm going to do,
it was the late entry. Throw your master balls at Brian. It's tied up.
Oh no!
One more vote could turn the tide.
The thing, if I do this, is this the last artwork I do, and I do my own face in there, or do I do next week's, and that's the last time? That's funny. All right, next vote. Next vote clinches it wherever that lands.
Let's see. Man, I'm torn because I like Pokey Bitcoin because I said it, but nobody's voting for that. So we gotta either put.
Have to be torn with that one. That was
right. I know, but so torn between. I know you don't like to put your face on the art as much, but then there's Dead to Me tied. I don't know which one to vote for.
I'll do my face on the art. I've never done it before. I've done your face and I've done Joe's face a few times. I've never done my own face. But this
Plus, Zenzalu said that he said, "Joe, don't you dare take this from me."
Saw that, yeah, nice.
That kind of matches with Charles's vendetta.
You know.
Oh, it's at 7 now. It's 2 ahead.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It looks like it's going to be throw your master. I can't read it without giggling now. Throw your master balls at Brian. So now that'll work. That'll work. So yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And I know Nicole's going to be out next week because she's about to do a med school exam. So excited for her.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
She's doing a med school exam while other people are playing Go Fest Dortmund,
Priorities.
Yeah, an entrance exam. So she's getting her future lined up. So very cool. Congratulations on that. I hope it goes well. And let us know, Nicole, of course. Let us know that how that went. But we'll catch everybody next week, and we'll hang out with you.
Bye.
Bye.